Terrorising resident
Temby and the Mayor of Kingston, Jeff Gledhill. Welcome to you both. Jeff, first, can I start with you? The birds are flocking around the local tip. They're looking for food. What kind of damage is it causing to the community?
Morning, Sonia. Look, I think the main concern is some of the local businesses. The birds, after they've been in the tip area and frolicking around for food, they nest and roost on the roofs of some of the local factories and businesses, and this is becoming a problem. Obviously, when the bird's there for some time, it's causing damage to the roof. It's leaving food scraps, doing what birds do in gutterings and that sort of thing, and that's why these businesses have contacted us and said we need some help.
It's quite alarming that when you see the footage, at first you think, oh, this can't be that serious, but then you look at it like, well, no, this is a major thing. Ian, the seagulls are obviously attracted to food. I mean, anyone with a hot chip at the beach will tell you that, but if they didn't have this particular tip right there, would they just move on to another one?
They would. Studies I did back in the 1980s showed that the gulls captured at one tip turned up at a number of other tips pretty well across Melbourne, so they're aware of all the different food sources. So if you do close off one, that doesn't slow them down at all.
Tip hoppers.
Jeff, what's the council's plan to eliminate the problem? Would you go as far as culling the seagulls?
Well, look, any talk of culling is not something council actually has a direct involvement in, and that's why we've engaged people, experts such as Ian, to work with the relevant state government departments to think that issue through. What we can do is try and manage the situation. We want to work with the local business owners, and we set up a program where we can direct them to the relevant state government areas. They're a protected species, and we have to be mindful of that. I think our biggest concern and how we can help the most, aside from providing that guidance to the businesses, is actually to manage the food source. And as Ian said, the food's there, the bird's just doing what the bird does, and it's feeding. It's a short-term solution if we simply close one facility. What we're trying to do is to actually change the way waste is treated around the urban fringes of at least our city, and we would hope, at least our suburb, and we hope that the rest of Melbourne would be the same. And if we don't address that, well, this sort of problem would remain.
Well, Ian, you say if you remove their food source, that might cause more damage to the community. How's that?
Well, first of all, if you could change the way we managed food waste, particularly across the whole metropolitan area, then you're going to have a lot of very hungry sources of food.
Oh, right.
We wouldn't want that to happen here. It may be that there aren't other crops that are vulnerable, but it's not a situation we want to create. But can I just say something about the culling option? Sure, it's not a viable thing. If you put up structures to stop them
nesting on that roof, so you're not just handballing it to someone else.
So Ian, what do you think needs to be done long term?
Look, we've created the problem by providing this abundant food source for gulls at our rubbish tips. We need to be a lot smarter about how we handle that food waste. There are methods for composting in enclosed facilities where gulls just don't have any access, and that's the ideal.
All right. Well, I hope it does get